All right, this is Swampy Sports Podcast. I am Dylan Marsh. This is my big bro, JD Marsh.
What's going on, guys?
Today we are going to be doing our NFL Week 6 preview podcast, and we are in the 1130 The Tiger Studios. So let's get started. Thank you for joining us. All right, Jay. So why don't you go remind the fine people of what our prediction record is right now?
Well, I have one victory over Dylan in the college with a 22-10 record, and Dylan has a record of 21-11, but that's college. In the NFL, I am 25-20, and Dylan is 28-17.
All right, well, guess what? I'm winning. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy started.
All right, this Thursday night, we have the Denver Broncos traveling to San Diego to take on the Chargers. I am going to take the Broncos to win this game. Simple fact is they were not able to move the ball at all against Atlanta with Paxton Lynch at quarterback. And I believe with Trevor Siemian coming back into the offense, he will be able to spark it up again and get the ball moving. And that defense, which got torched, I would say, with that defense and how good it is, not used to it. I think they bounce back hard and they get a big victory on the road. And
I'm definitely going to say, the Chargers are pretty pathetic in my eyes. Let's go ahead and say I'm going to take the Broncos for sure. But I was impressed with Joey Bosa and his coming out party, I guess you could say, after his little irresponsible holdout. He came out and had 2 sacks, and I think 4 tackles for loss. Three out of his 5 tackles were tackles for loss. So he had a great game, and hopefully that's something to look forward to in his promising future. But I'm taking the Broncos solely on the fact of the defense, and I think last week it was a fluke, but again it was the Eagles and
it was the Falcons.
I'm sorry, the Falcons, and who I've said in my eyes right now, who's the MVP and still is Matt Ryan, and that offense is no pushover. They're definitely the defense is gone, and that's why they're not how they used to be back in 2007, 2010, stuff like that. So I think that was just a great football game. Falcons matched up better, but Chargers are not going to be able to match up. That defense is going to eat Phillip Rivers alive. Fantasy tip: do not start Phillip Rivers this week.
All right, and on to our next matchup. We got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills.
All right. Well, Colin Kaepernick has been named the starter of this game. So, Colin Kaepernick going up against Rex Ryan and these Bills. I'm gonna take the Bills because after this game, Kaepernick's never going to start a game after this. I don't think he's going to do well. I think maybe all this stuff has gone to his head with the protests and stuff. Maybe, it's gotten him a lot of attention, but all he's been doing is sitting on a bench. And I think that's given him a little bit more hype than what he should have had. Yes, he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl, but that was because it fit perfectly in a Jim Harbaugh offense. But that was the first year that the NFL has seen a team run the read option that well. And now every team runs that mostly now. So, they're not the same. Kaepernick's not the same. So I'm taking the Bills over the 49ers.
I got the Bills too. The 49ers defense, now that Bowman's out for the year, it's just not the same. You're missing your main piece, and I believe with it being in Buffalo, I think Tyrod Taylor will tear that defense up. And their defense is back to what it was 2 years ago. And I have the Bills win this game big. I'm going 17 points.
Oh, wow. Okay. You usually get mad at me for making big predictions like that. So, all right. You writing these down, right?
Yeah, I am.
All right, let's go.
All right. Next game, we had the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to our nation's capital for a division matchup against the Washington Redskins. And I am going with the Redskins on this one, Dylan. I think they have found their mojo on defense, and I believe that Kirk Cousins is starting to move the ball better, and I believe that Josh Norman will hold down Jordan Matthews whenever he goes to the right side of the field. But I believe that they'll be able to move the football through the run game to set up the pass, and I believe Jordan Reed is going to have a good game. He'll have over 100 yards, a touchdown, and I think this is going to be a week where Deshaun Jackson comes out and shines against this former team. Give me the Redskins by 5.
You, sir, are a dumbass. So, I'm taking the Eagles on this just because of how well the Eagles are still playing. And Carson Wentz, second best rookie quarterback in the league right now, killing it. Definitely right behind Dak Prescott. But Dak Prescott, I think, is more impressive because it's the Cowboys, who have been extremely awful without Tony Romo at quarterback. But now Dak Prescott comes in. He's won 5 straight. And
it's 4 straight.
4 straight. And so, that's impressive how he's leading the team. He doesn't have great stats, but he's definitely leading the team, leading the charge. But the reason I think Philadelphia is going to win is because of Ryan Matthews. And, okay, hold on. Did you pick the Redskins to win?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's why I called you dumbass. All right, so the reason I think Ryan Matthews is going to have a breakout game, I think the run game is going to be key for the Eagles this week. I say Darren Sproles has a great game on little flare routes, in the passing game, as he usually does out of the backfield. And Quince is going to do what he usually does. He's going to manage the game well and basically lead his team to have some rushing touchdowns in the red zone. I think scoring in red zone is going to be key for both teams if both teams want to win, because both these teams cannot really score in the red zone.
That's where I'm going at with Jordan Reed. I believe he's going to be a huge red zone target for the Redskins this week.
Yeah, most definitely. So basically, it's going to be red zone defense, I think, and the Eagles' defense, I think, is more, I guess you can say, dominant on the at least from the linebackers to the secondary. Defensive line is it's all right, but their secondary is really good. And if they lock down in the red zone and don't allow Kirk Cousins to allow fade routes into the corner, you know all about this stuff, Mr. Receiver. So yeah, I'm taking the Eagles in this one.
All right. And I don't think we're going to have much to talk about on this one, as our next game is the winless Cleveland Browns are traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. I'm going to let you go first, Dylan.
I got the Cleveland Browns. I think this is going to be the Browns' first win. You can look at me like that all you want, James, but it's very hard to go winless in the NFL. I think you should always win at least one. I think Goodell is going to give them this one. Mariota, if he's going to be an X factor, it's going to be with Mariota for the Titans. Murray, he's going to have a usual game, maybe around 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it depends how the quarterback play is and who's going to play at quarterback, because their 6th quarterback of the season went down with an injury again Sunday. And quarterback Jesus with Charlie Whitehurst. He went down in, I think, the 4th quarter of that game. And so if Cody Kessler comes back and he's able to somewhat just do what Dak's doing, just lead the team. Don't make anything fancy. Don't make hard throws, and just lead your team, short throws, and let Crowell rush the ball efficiently. Make sure offensive lines getting their assignments, but also holding their assignments, because I've seen multiple times when I watched the Browns versus the Dolphins, one thing I realized why the Dolphins came back and won that game is later in the game, as soon as Crowell would hit the hole, the linebackers would be right there. The fullbacks need to do a better job of blocking the linebackers and just basically letting the run game perform the pass game. And I think that's what's been the Browns' problem for the past 10 years is is their whole offense is just so out of whack. They don't work together in sync. So, but I just got a feeling the Browns are going to get their first win of the season this year.
I think this is going to be a very good defensive battle because over the years, now you can look at me if I'm crazy or not doing, but I believe that over the past 5 to 8 years, the Browns have had a top 10 defense in the league. They are just on the field so much and put in terrible positions. And I believe that their defense just gets tired and worn out and beat up.
Hold up. Skip back 5 seconds. Repeat what you just said.
For the past 5 to 8 years, the Browns, in my opinion, with the talent level they have on that defense, is a top 10 defense in the NFL.
Okay, just continue what you were saying.
Okay, my point being is I have the Titans win this game because, as you were talking about, the quarterback play for the Browns, what are they, a 6-string quarterback now or something?
6th starting quarterback of the season.
There's no chemistry on that offense. Once again, it's going to put that Browns defense in horrible position, and Marcus Mariota is going to go for a huge day. Give me the Titans to win this one by 14.
This dude said the Browns have had a top 10 defense.
I didn't say they were a top 10 defense. They have the talent level to be a top 10 defense. They've just been put in horrible positions every year.
All right, let's go to the next one before I pee myself. All right.
All right, we got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Meadowlands to take on the New York Giants.
Ooh. See, this one I think is going to be a good one. I think this is going to be a great game. Giants yes, they lost last week, but they're showing improvement. Odell Beckham Jr. made amends with the kicking net. So after he scored his first touchdown of the year, so maybe he's having fun again. Maybe, because it seems like he plays well when he's having fun, just like everybody else. Just like the Browns players, they're probably not having fun. They're in Cleveland. What do they have to do?
It's always muggy up there.
Let's see. So the Giants are playing well, and the Ravens are coming into MetLife Stadium. But like I've said, at the beginning of the year, I'm not sure if I want to stick with this right now, but I'm going to consider it still. I said the Ravens are going to make the Super Bowl. But that was because of their defense. And their offense now, they got rid of Justin Forsett, who just signed with the Lions. But I'm going to stick with that. But I think they make it, they barely make, I think the Ravens barely make the playoffs. But I'm going to say the Giants win this because it's at home. And Eli Manning's doing pretty well this year. Yeah, they're 2-3, but their losses have been very close. They have been very frustrating losses, which is why I think the media is definitely blowing this whole Odell Beckham Jr. out of proportion. So, yeah, give me the Giants because the $150 million defense they built this offseason is starting to click with the secondary. So,
we saw that in the second half against the Packers.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm taking the Giants in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Giants, too, with it being at home. And I believe this is going to be a shootout. You were talking about that $150 million defense that the Giants spent in the offseason. I think the Ravens are clicking on offense, even though they just lost by 6 to the Redskins at home. I believe that both teams are going to be able to score. I think this is going to be like a 28-27 win for the Giants. With that 100, even though I think the Ravens will be able to move the ball efficiently, I think the Giants will have a key stop late in the fourth quarter and get their ball back to the offense, and Odell Beckham makes a huge play at the end of the game to secure a victory for the Giants.
Oh, so you're calling Odell for the win?
I'm not calling
Odell. No,
I'm saying,
you did not say that.
I'm saying, okay, what I'm saying is
Odell, no.
Josh Brown will kick a field goal at the end of the game to win the game 28-27 from a huge play from Odell to get him in field goal range.
Was this the first time you've ever heard of a kicker getting suspended?
No.
Really?
Matt Prater, baby.
Did he really?
Yeah.
What, juicing it up?
No, DWI.
Same thing. All right, let's move on next.
On to our next game. We got the Carolina Panthers, with or without Cam Newton, are traveling down to New Orleans to take on the Saints.
So so basically it's the battle of the crappy NFC South. And the former team, last year's Super Bowl runner-up, if you will, Carolina Panthers, and the league MVP and Concussion Newton. I think this one's hard. Both defenses are playing like crap. Saints defense is god-awful. The last year's best defense in the league, beside the Broncos, the two best defenses made it to the Super Bowl last year. But Luke Kuechly, he's nowhere to be found this year. I think the loss of Josh Norman is had a huge impact in what happened here, what happened there, rather, in Carolina. But I'm going to take the Panthers in this one just because of how awful the Saints defense has been. Offense has been great. Drew Brees is having a rather of a Drew Brees year. But if Cam Newton comes back, I think he'll lead the Panthers to victory easily because the Panthers defense is still there. It's just not showing up. And I think this could be a game easily for them to show up in to maybe get some confidence. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, but they will make stops in the third or fourth quarter to help seal the victory.
This is going to be a very high-scoring game, Dylan. I'm talking 45-42.
What?
Yeah, I'm calling that high of scoring because
you must be high.
The Saints' defense is so god-awful. It doesn't even matter if Derek Anderson, Cam Newton, or even our little cousin Judge plays quarterback for Carolina. They're going to score points on this defense.
No, Judge needs to beat the kicker.
Well, anyway.
That's his dream.
Anyway, Dylan. My point being is the Carolina's defense is good enough to slow down Drew Brees and that offense just a tad bit, but the Saints' god-awful defense, that is the worst defense in NFL and has been for years,
but
will not be able to... You don't think
they have the talent to be a top 10 team, JD?
No.
Oh, well.
I'm taking the Panthers to win this game. In a close shootout, but I got the Panthers winning this game.
I'm sorry. I'm still caught up on that Browns comment.
All right, let's just move on.
Come on.
All right, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears.
The Bears. Like I've said, every single podcast we've done of this, I have witnessed firsthand. I was there live when the Bears played the Cowboys, and that was probably the Bears' best played game. I think they played better than when they actually won their first game. But that's when Jay Cutler wasn't even there, and it was Brian Hoyer at quarterback. But now the Bears lost their leading rusher in Langford. He's out for this game, or he's questionable for this game. And the Bears are just god-awful. I would take the Browns over the Bears this year. And Jay Cutler's questionable. Oh, I'm sorry. Langford's back. But Cutler's probably not going to play. Their best linebacker, Leonard Floyd, is out. And their best receiver, Kevin White, is now on the IR. So Bears are screwed.
You said their best wide receiver?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're saying he's better than Alshon Jeffrey?
Where has Alshon Jeffrey
You're saying Kevin White is better than Alshon Jeffrey, Dylan?
Alshon Jeffrey, 22 catches on the season, 394 yards, no touchdowns. Where has he been?
The defenses are double teaming him, Dylan.
Okay, then let's see.
They have
Kevin
nobody else out there.
Kevin White has 200-something yards and 1 touchdown. Wow, he has a better year than your boy Alshon Jeffrey already, doesn't he?
He's not my boy, but I'm just saying Jeffrey is a better receiver than Kevin White. Don't even get it twisted.
But I'm definitely... Okay, whatever. I'm taking the Jaguars in Chicago because of what you said to me during our fantasy draft. You believe in Blake Bortles. I like him. I like how he is basically the only thing holding this team together. He is the centerpiece around it. He's going to be there his whole career, which is sad to think about because he's such a talent. And if that defense will finally, it's starting to build up to what it can be with all the talent in these past couple of drafts they've gotten in the first, second round. It's coming along, but they need to build around Blake Bortles on offense now. And then they'll have a complete team to where maybe they can contend in a couple of years. But I can see it going, and Bears are just awful. So Give me the Jaguars.
I'm taking the Bears because, like you said, their best played game this year, in your opinion, was against the Cowboys in a correct me if I'm wrong, was a 31-14 loss?
Yes.
Okay.
31-17.
31-17. Okay. I'm taking the Bears on the sole fact that I don't care Cutler isn't playing. Their offense is better, in my opinion, and has been every time he gets hurt. I believe their offense will be able to move the ball against this defense. And I think their defense is improving week by week. And I think they will get this victory at home.
All right. JD all over the Bears this week. All right.
On to our next matchup. We have the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions.
All right, bro. See, I really like Los Angeles this year. I really do. But what did I tell you last week? That
you were hungry?
Yeah, that usually happens. That usually happens about every week. I usually get hungry. But no, I told you last week that the Lions would beat the Eagles, right? I told you that the Lions always seem to be an upset contender when they're at home. I don't find that the case this week because it wouldn't really be an upset because Detroit is favored in this game. They're the home team, but the Rams are 3-2. And I like what I've seen from the Rams this year. It's not great, but I think just them being in a new city has given them a little bit of, I guess, momentum or confidence. So give me the Rams for no particular reason, just a gut feeling. Just because I think the Lions are never consistent. So once they had a great game last week, they're not going to be consistent this week. I do not think. So give me the Mountain Goats.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on this one, Dylan.
Brother.
With the Lions not being very consistent week to week, it's either they play great, then they play horrible. They play horrible, then they play great.
Every single freaking week.
Yeah. And I like the way their defense is turning. It's playing really well since that week 1 disaster. And now that their offense is finally starting to move the ball a little bit, Todd Gurley's finally getting going, and it's starting to look like a good offense. I got the Rams going into Detroit and winning this game too, Dylan. So, looks like we agree on that one.
All right, cool. Is that the first one we've agreed on?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
that's why you keep up with it. I wouldn't be able to do that. All right.
On to our next one. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling down to South Beach to take on the Dolphins.
So, should we even talk about this one?
Nah, because
I'm just going to go ahead and say the Steelers. Let's make this podcast a little shorter. Let's just say the Steelers for the most obvious reason: Big Ben and your defense.
Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell.
Big Ben, because Big Ben is that offense which everything else forms around.
Yeah.
Because he's so big.
And the Dolphins are just
they're
not good this year.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are just terrible. The only win against the Browns, we had to come back from I think 24.
And then
points.
I don't know why we're even going to talk about the next one, the Cincinnati Bengals at New England. I mean, New England's going to win that game, Dylan.
Cincinnati Bengals. What can I say about the Bengals to make them seem good in this game?
I'll just go ahead and go first. You got my pick, the Patriots.
Okay. The Bengals have always been the team, great rushing defense. Offense is always above average, and they always look great in the regular season. But what is always their one weakness? It's always been their one weakness since Peyton Manning was at the Colts, and he torched them every year in the playoffs. Their one weakness is their passing game. Because the rushing game is great.
Who are you talking about?
The Bengals.
Dylan, their passing game's better than their rushing game.
I do not see that. Especially in the past couple of years, I haven't. I will say I have not watched the Bengals a lot this year.
You're over the past couple of years, you're telling me that Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill have rushed better. Their offense has excelled more.
You know I'm talking about defense, right?
No, you were talking about offense.
No, I was talking about defense.
Oh, okay.
As I was saying, because I brought up Peyton Manning and how he always torched them on the passing game. that has always been the weakness of the Bengals. With Adam Jones, a very, I guess you can say, he's a good player, but very outspoken, very always doing his own thing, always getting arrested type of thing. So that's always been a weakness of the passing game. And Tom Brady, it's Tom Brady's going to have not a similar game as he had last week, but he's going to get me about 60 points in fantasy instead of 78 this week. So yeah, I'm definitely taking the Patriots. I think that's a no question. If the Bengals win, that will be my upset of the week, I think, because it's in Foxborough and no one ever wins in Foxborough hardly. So,
all right, let's just go to the next one. We have a AFC West divisional matchup, which will be a good one, as we have the Chiefs of Kansas City traveling to Oakland to take on the Raiders.
It upsets me how you say Raiders all the time. I don't know why. Like, it doesn't upset me. It just makes my ears hurt. But the Raiders, they are impressing me so much, especially on offense. Michael Crabtree is killing it this year. You know, Crabtree is not even their leading receiver. It's Cooper. But Cooper has almost 500 yards and a touchdown. But Derek Carr is showing everybody that he's worth that first-round pick with the Raiders. He was a first-round pick, wasn't he? Yeah. And definitely coming around for his third year. He has slowly been building up, and now he's becoming consistent this year. And the Raiders, I think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, and I think the Raiders might make a run for the playoffs.
Do you think they're going to win that division? Right now, it's them or Denver.
I don't know, man. That Denver-Oakland game is going to be good. No, I don't think they'll win the division. But I think there's a huge possibility they could, just because of the quarterback comparisons, of how consistent quarterbacks have been, and say if their offense can put up. I say if the Raiders play Oakland, if the Broncos play the Raiders, if the Raiders can put up 21 points on them, I think they could win. That's if they could, because the Broncos defense is the best defense I have ever seen in a very long time, especially in the passing game, which is Oakland's strength. So, but back to this game. I think Khalil Mack anchoring down that defense is going to shut down Jamal Charles and Alex Smith. It's in Oakland. The future Las Vegas Raiders are going to win this football game. I say about 14 points. I think the offense I think Carr is going to have a great game, but then also the defense is going to hold it down. But breaking news: the Las Vegas people that run the city have approved the plans for a Las Vegas Raiders stadium. So now the city committee just has to vote to see if the Raiders will be in Las Vegas next season.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking the Raiders to win this game, but not by 14. I think it's going to be a close one, because the Raiders have struggled with the Chiefs over the years. I think they have one win in the past 7 games. But with how well they're playing, I believe they'll be able to move the ball, even though I feel like the Chiefs' defense will be able to slow them down a little bit. But how much the Raiders' defense has grown is proven to me that Khalil Mack will make plays.
Yeah, Khalil Mack's outstanding.
Yeah, and I just believe that they'll get the job done. Give me the Raiders to win this game 24-22.
All right. Well, this next game, I'll go ahead and say this next game. I really like this next game.
Yeah, I really
the Battle of the Birds, the Bird Bowl. This is the Bird Bath, I guess you can say.
Dirty
and it's
Birds.
going to be a bloodbath.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Because you got the Atlanta Falcons at the Seattle Seahawks. And the Falcons last week were very impressive. And the Seahawks, they're 3-1. You know, they're doing what they usually do. But since it's at Seattle, it's at the NFL's 12th man. I'm going to say home field advantage helps the Seahawks win this football game. But Russell Wilson, I always get him and Russell Westbrook mixed up. But Wilson's having a very odd year for him, I guess you can say. He looked like he tore his ACL early in the season, but he's back from that. He's still a very I guess you can say transparent player. I guess you can say he's easy to see his weaknesses, but it's hard to stop him. If you does that make any sense? So I think with this Falcons defense, I think they're going to have trouble with Russell Westbrook and how he.
Wilson.
Oh, yes.
Come on, Dylan.
I'm sorry. Basketball season's about to start. But Wilson and his playmaking ability and how I think he's statistically behind Aaron Rodgers for being the best quarterback out of the pocket. So I'm going to say solely Russell Wilson is going to single-handedly win this football game for the Seahawks. But I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are set for a great game because I think Julio Jones is one of the only receivers in the league that can go up against the Legion of Boom. But Sherman versus Julio Jones is probably going to be the best matchup of the week.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Dylan. I'm picking the Seahawks, by the way. I'm not saying you're wrong on the pick. I'm saying you're wrong about Julio Jones because if he could not do anything against that Denver defense in that secondary, which is, I believe, I think the Seahawks defense and secondary is just as talented as Denver.
Oh, let me say this, though. I think the Legion of Boom is extremely overrated. I'm just saying that 'cause that's what they're called. They're good, but they're not as good as everyone thought they were. The reason that they were so good is because the year that they won the Super Bowl, their offense was outscoring everybody by at least maybe close to 20 points a game. And that gave them a lot more, I guess you can say, it gave them more room to do more things on defense, different coverages, try things out. But also, I don't think they shut out many people, or they didn't not give up a lot of points, or maybe passing yards. But they look good because they got to the Super Bowl. They are good, but they're not great. Everyone says they're an iconic defense because they have the nickname Legion of Boom. And everyone says if you have a nickname, you're iconic. Well, the players gave themselves that nickname. It wasn't the steel curtain where people gave them that. So that's what I have to say about the Seattle defense. They're good, but they're not as great as the steel curtain or even the Broncos defense now.
Well, I believe that they're going to focus so hard on Julio Jones and they're going to execute that game plan and they're going to make Julio not a factor and they're going to make Matt Ryan beat them with Tammy and Sanu. And I believe that the Falcons will be able to run the ball, not efficiently, but I think mediocre, and it will set up a little bit of pass game. But I think Seattle, like you said, the home field advantage, I think that's going to get to the Falcons. And I think I'm right there with you. I think Seattle will hand Atlanta their second loss this year.
All right. One more thing. I'm going to talk about the Falcons. Another thing I think that hurt the Falcons was the loss of Roddy White because of games like this. When Roddy White was getting older, he was still a very dependable target. And with games like this where they will focus more on Julio Jones, you still had Roddy White, a great red zone target. So, because I think he was like 6'4", and he could leap. So that was another huge loss for the Falcons right there, but it's hurt him a little bit, but they're still doing great. So you picked the Seahawks, right? All right, let's go on to the next one. Next one is one of my favorites.
Well, Dylan, I want to save that one for last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
On to our next game. We skipped that one, the game that we're supposed to talk about next, but we'll go ahead and skip to the Sunday night football game, which features the Indianapolis Colts traveling down to Dylan's Houston Texans.
Woo! We're awful. But I'm taking the Texans, not because they're my team, but more along the fact of I think the Colts defense is probably top 5 worst this year of watching them. I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats, but the X factor is going to be our $40 million man and Brock Osweiler, and hoping he finally lives up to his potential of what we expect him to do as a quarterback. Because our best pickup was not Brock Osweiler. It was Lamar Miller, our running back. He has been killing it this year. 101 carries, 371 yards, but he gets the first downs. He's the reason we've won football games because he always gets the first downs we need to end games inside the red zone. So, what are you doing?
I'm just waiting.
I thought you were pointing something at me.
Just
But-
waiting for you to finish.
But Andrew Luck is Andrew Luck. He's having a great year. It's just the Colts are not having a great year, so no one's talking about him. But I'm taking the Houston Texans over the Colts because I think, I think DeAndre Hopkins is finally going to have a huge game, or at least a better game than 1 yard, 6 catches. And Will Fuller, the sensational rookie, is going to have that's a new dynamic duo in NFL, I think, that Brock Osweiler should capitalize on.
All right. I'm going to disagree with you on this one, Dylan. I'm
course.
going the
Of course.
Colts because I believe that I think this is going to be another high-scoring game. I'm calling it both teams getting the 30s. And don't you throw that pin at me. I'm going with the Colts to win this game on the sole fact that I think the Texans' secondary is just a little worse than the Colts. And Brock Osweiler just can't seem to find
Don't you
DeAndre
doubt our
Hopkins.
35-year-old cornerback, Jonathan Joseph.
Anyway, I just have a feeling. I don't have any specific reason why I'm picking the Colts. It's kind of a gut feeling, but that would be the only reason why I would lean towards the Colts. So yeah, I'm going with the Colts in a close, high-scoring game.
All right, so now we're moving on to the Monday night game.
Yes, the Monday night game we had.
I think have been the most disappointing games all season.
Yeah, last night was
But
not bad.
there was no Cam Newton,
Well,
so it wouldn't have been interesting.
yeah,
And I don't think anybody hardly watched that last night.
I did.
I watched the baseball game last night. So
Anyway, we have the New York Jets traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals.
so two of the best NFC teams from last year have turned out to not be impressive at all this year. In the Cardinals, their defense has not been holding up the way everyone thought they would. But I'm taking the Cardinals at home because it seems like the Cardinals always win in primetime games.
Not in week 1, baby.
Okay, James, calm down. But Carson Palmer is questionable with a concussion. But I think he's going to play, so put me down for the Cardinals against this Jets defense. Their offense, I'm fine with. The defense is a little bit questionable against a team that has Larry Fitzgerald. He's older, but he's still very dynamic, as we saw in the playoffs last year. And I don't know how he made those plays, but he was able to juke, break tackles on little 3-yard slant routes and go 60 yards for a touchdown. So he's still a Larry Fitzgerald. He's still the one everyone loves, all the fantasy owners love. So give me the Cardinals at home on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets. Jets
Shut up.
to lose.
You know you're supposed to say Jets 2 more times. It's Jets. Jets. Sorry. Let's have to say that. I'm sorry. You see those hands?
Anyway, I'm going with the Cardinals too. I believe that defense is going to make Ryan Fitzpatrick miserable and going to possibly have another 6-interception game. And I believe it doesn't matter right now who plays quarterback for the Cardinals because it just seems every week like their offense. It doesn't matter who plays for him. David Johnson, who plays for him at quarterback. David Johnson's going to get his, and whoever plays quarterback just has a connection with Larry Fitzgerald. I don't know if Larry Fitzgerald's just that type of player or if he just has good chemistry with both of them. But I'm taking the Cardinals to win this one by 10.
Okay.
And on to my game of the week, which I think it is Dylan's too. Is that right?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say that, yeah.
We
on the
have
sole fact that it's Dak Prescott's first road test.
Yes, we have the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys, Tony Romo-less, with a rookie quarterback in Dak Prescott
Hometown boy.
going to Lambeau to take on, is it the 3-1 Packers, Dylan?
3-1 Packers.
I'm gonna let you go first, Dylan.
All right, let the show host go first. All right, let's go ahead and say that Dak Prescott is extremely impressive this year. And I'm not just saying that because he is the hometown boy here. But I'm saying that in the sole fact that he is 6 attempts away from breaking Tom Brady's record for most attempts without an interception, I think, as a rookie or whatever. So,
if I want anyone to break that record, it's him.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to, I'm sure. But with Prescott, his stats, like I said earlier, are not amazing. His completion percentage is really good. 107 for 155. And he's got 1,200 passing yards, only 4 passing touchdowns, which he's got in the past 2 games. But he has, I think, 4 rushing touchdowns as well. But with with an offensive line like the Cowboys to help protect him and give him the time to check down, almost every play is what he does. He checks down. That's why he doesn't have any interceptions. And Cole Beasley being the leading receiver, he's playing so well in managing the game like a veteran. But then you also have Ezekiel Elliott doing what he was drafted in the first round for, behind the best offensive line in the league, what we're seeing now. Elliott's the leading rusher in the league as a rookie by, I think, close to 100 yards with 546 yards and 5 touchdowns. So Elliott is starting to become what everyone thought he would be. Prescott is holding it down until Romo comes back for one game, then probably gets hurt again. But Aaron Rodgers is one bad dude, as we saw last week. And I think what's going to kill, I'm picking the Packers. And the reason I say that is because Aaron Rodgers, when he rolls out of the pocket and throws on the run, he has the best completion percentage in the NFL. So with that, I think he's going to kill the Dallas Cowboy defense with that, because with the secondary, anchored down by Shadrick and Morris Claiborne, I don't think that they'll be able to stay with Adams or even Randall Cobb. Let
alone Jordy Nelson.
Yeah. And Jordy Nelson, the reason I said Adams and Cobb is because those are the people he usually throws to whenever he's on the run. And whenever they can escape their route and basically freelance down the field to get a completion. So I'm taking the Packers in a really good football game, but I think Aaron Rodgers is just too much for that Cowboys defense to, I guess to handle. And Eddie Lacy, I think, is going to help a lot with that rush game to open up the pass game. I bet you they start off running the ball, and then later on, it's going to be a close game, but Aaron Rodgers kills the defense in the second half.
God, this is such a hard game to pick, because you got, like you said, you have Dallas's offensive line, who me and you both believe is the best offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The reason I picked the Packers, like I said, it's their first road test. This is the first great team. I think the Packers are great.
The reason why I call this the game of the week for me is because you got the best offensive line in the game with the best rookie running back, in my opinion, in the league.
The best running back in the league. JD, statistically, he's the best running back in the league.
Okay, he might be, but, we all know it's Le'Veon Bell who's the best running back in the league. Anyway, you have the number 1 offensive line with Ezekiel Elliott going up against the number 1 team defense against the run, who's, listen to this stat, Dylan. They have only given up 171 yards on the ground this whole season. The Packers have, averaging 2 yards per carry. And with that being said, if the Cowboys can be able to gain 3 yards per carry, that will open up the pass game more for Dak to show his poise that he's been great at showing so far this season, to get the ball to Butler, to get the ball to Beasley, and to get the ball to Witten. And I believe you are underestimating this Cowboys defense. As I've said last year, I thought it was very underrated because of what they had on offense, and they were still losing games only 13-12, 15-10. They were losing close games, and they couldn't even move the football. And I believe that the Cowboys defense will slow down the Packers offense, who hasn't even gotten off to a hot start yet. It's their defense that's led them to this 3-1 record for the Packers. And even though I think that the Packers will slow down the run game of the Cowboys, I believe that Dak is going to show everybody why when Romo gets healthy, they don't need to go back to him, because I believe that the Cowboys need to pull a Patriots on this one and keep Dak as their starting quarterback and say goodbye to Romo, because I think he's the real deal, and I think he's going to lead the Cowboys to a 3-point win in Lambeau. Give me the Cowboys.
All right. I like that pick. I have no problem with that. I would not be shocked if the Cowboys win. And I like what you said about the Cowboys pulling the Patriots. I think Garrett definitely needs to be or Jerry Jones in that fact, because I don't think Jason Garrett has any say in whatever happens in that Giants organization except the play calls. So I'm going to say that they need to focus on winning and not, I guess it's not even a popular vote. You know, we ran a poll on the 1130 The Tiger Twitter page asking if when Romo comes back, should Dak Prescott sit on the bench? 90% to 10%. 90% said no, Prescott should start. 10% said Romo should play. So that's not even the
Well, Dylan, that's a bunch of Cowboy fans that are just tired of seeing.
I know, listen, but that's what I'm saying. They don't need to do the popular thing. They need to focus on winning. But then also, if you think about this game could decide if Romo plays when he's healthy again or not. Because I think if I'm the Giants organization, if I'm Jerry Jones, you know, when I'm sitting on my pile of money watching this game, I'm looking at see how Prescott does in this hostile environment in Green Bay against this always decent Packer defense. And if they come out in this game in a convincing win, it doesn't have to be like a blowout, but just winning in a convincing way. Not a lot of offensive turnovers. No, not a lot of offensive penalties.
Speaking of turnovers, that's one thing that really has impressed me about Dak is how much, like I've said, his poise he's shown starting in prime time with so-called America's team, which I believe isn't America's team anymore.
Okay, hold on. Who do you think it is?
Well, you know who I think it is.
All right.
Anyway, just the way he shows poise and hasn't thrown a pick yet, I just think that that's what's going to lead him. He's just going to march the team down the field on some drives, because that defense of the Packers is no joke, and it's going to make the Cowboys go 3 and out sometimes. But I believe Dak will show his poise, how much poise he has in this game.
Yeah, but as I was saying, this game I think is going to decide if Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones has already said Romo is going to play when he comes back. But if Dak Prescott has a great game, like you said, with poise and wins in a convincing way, like I said, no off.
If he outplays Aaron Rodgers,
yeah, which is going to be very hard to do. But I think this game is going to decide if he's going to start if Romo comes back. So I'm excited about this game. So
all right, before we say goodbye, Dylan, I believe now that we've gone through 5 weeks of the NFL season, I believe that every week now we need to pick our winners of the division and our 2 wild cards. Who we think is going to make the playoffs.
All right.
Now, I'll let you go first with the NFC North.
Minnesota Vikings. They are definitely the best team in the league right now. The defense shocking everybody with the best pass rushing defense I've seen this year. Sam Bradford fitting in there perfectly. I think they win the division in NFC North.
I'm going to go with the Packers. I think that the Packers are going to get their revenge at home against the Vikings in Lambeau with, I think it's week 16 they play. And I believe that the Vikings are going to slip here in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going with the Packers. And all right, Dylan, on to the AFC South. Or NFC South, my bad.
God, that's
It's
NFC
so
South
horrible,
is
man.
awful.
It's the worst division in football right now. Worst division.
Man,
It is what the NFC East was last year.
if I had to guess, I'm just gonna guess here because I honestly have no idea. The NFC South. I'm gonna say okay, it has to be the Atlanta Falcons of what we've seen so far, but I think the Buccaneers could step it up and maybe challenge them. But I'm gonna pick the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons too because just based off what we've seen so far,
Yeah.
that's what this prediction is based off what we've seen so far, who's going to win each division, and you can't not say the Falcons right now. What are they, 3-1?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm going with Falcons. All right, on to the NFC West, Dylan.
We're going to NFC West. I'm going to take the. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to bounce back. I think that they will be what they were last year. I think so. But later on, like they're going to be pushed. It's going to be close between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, like it was last year. But I'm going to take the Cardinals in the West.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I'm going to go Seahawks on the sole fact that they've just been playing lights out, and I don't believe the Cardinals are. They might turn it around enough to get a wild card spot, but I'm going to take the Seahawks to win this game. I mean, win the division this year. All right, and on to the NFC East.
Gotta go with the boys. Gotta go with Dallas. The way they're playing with Dak, maybe they'll play just as good with a veteran quarterback in Tony Romo because you can't say no to that. That's just how well they're playing with, if you take Dak out of the picture, defense is playing decent. Zeke's running the ball great. He's showing everybody why he's worth that first-round pick. The offensive line is great right now. Cole Beasley, the underdog, probably the underdog in his whole life playing sports. When I saw him in person, dude looked just like a normal guy, but he's killing it right now, leading receivers for the Cowboys. So I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm right there with you. I'm going Cowboys too, just the way Dak's showing so much poise. I think when they match up, if Dak's the still starting quarterback, when they match up against Philadelphia, Dak will show why he is the rookie of the year this year and outplay Carson Wentz in both matchups. And that it will give them the division win, beating Philadelphia twice. So I'm going with Cowboys too.
All right.
And Dylan, who's your 2 wild card teams?
For the NFC?
Yep.
Put me down for the Green Bay Packers and the Los Angeles Rams.
Rams, really?
Yep.
I am going to go with the Vikings.
Oh, of course. You have to put them in there.
Yeah, you just cannot put them not put them in there.
Exactly.
And I am going to go out on a limb here. And I am going to say the Panthers turn it around and make the playoffs as the 6th seed in the wild card this year.
I like that pick. I do. I think, they're just too talented. The one thing I don't understand about the Panthers is they got back. The only person they lost was Josh Norman, one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Yeah.
But they even got back their number one receiver that didn't even play last year. What happened?
Did that
it's
throw?
crazy.
That might have thrown off the chemistry of the offense.
I have no idea
Because that offense was
but even,
firing on all cylinders
but
last
even
year.
Funches last year, their leading receiver last year, Funches, he's not doing anything this year. Maybe he wasn't a leading receiver behind Olsen, but still, he was the main receiver target. So I don't know what happened with the Panthers. All right, let's move to AFC.
All right, AFC North, Dylan. Who you got?
The Browns have been impressing me. No, I'm just kidding. Give me the Steelers easily in that one. Oh, drop my
Yeah, I'm going Steelers too. The Ravens, they just don't. I don't think their defense is good enough to win them that division, especially when they got to play Pittsburgh twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I just believe that offense will be too much for them. And yeah, it's hard to pick against the Steelers, so I'm going with them. All right, going into your division, we got the AFC South.
See, I don't know what's worse, NFC South or AFC South.
The South,
but
will
if I'm
not
if I
rise
if,
this year.
If this right now what we're saying is our predictions for the rest of the time, I would pick the Colts. So I think the Colts will turn it around. I think the Colts are going to win the division because I don't think the Texans will keep up their one-game lead in the division. But Texans are just bound for a fall.
Wow, Dylan, I can't believe I'm picking
your
team.
I'm being honest about it.
I'm picking your team because.
Thank you. Thanks.
I don't think the Colts.
I love the confidence. I wish I had that.
I don't think the Colts defense will hold up enough to win that division. Even though the Texans don't have J.J. Watt, I still believe that they will. Even though I believe that they're going to lose this weekend to the Colts, and the Colts will they be tied for the division after that?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, they'll both be 3-3.
Yeah, I believe that will tie, and the Colts will have the advantage. But I think the Texans will get them in Indianapolis, and the Texans will play better football down the road, and they'll take that division. All right, and on to the AFC West, Dylan. Who do you have?
Like I said earlier, it's going to be between the Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders.
You mean the Broncos and the Raiders?
What did I say?
The Browns.
What did I say? It's been a long 3 days, man. The Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. So with that being said, right now I'm picking the Raiders to be the division champion. In a couple of weeks, it might change. I have no idea. But this is going to be the most entertaining fight for the division champion. But no matter what, the second place team is champion is going to get the wild card.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, but I'm picking Denver to win the division solely based on that defense and how well it can just hold their place. And it's like they bend but they don't break. And I believe that it's going to come down to the Raiders and the Broncos both splitting games, the home team winning each game. But I believe that the Broncos will win. They'll just end up winning more games than the Raiders. So I got the Broncos winning the division. And I mean, I know how can you pick against them, Dylan, for the AFC East?
Can't. You got to pick the facts. I mean the Pats. You got to pick the New England Patriots for sure. They Tom Brady back. They're not unstoppable, but they are close to it.
They're almost invincible.
I don't know about that.
Let me say
I don't
something.
know about that, but I'm taking the Patriots just because the Bills, I think, when they shut out the Patriots, I think that was a fluke. And that's because they had a third-string quarterback from North Carolina State, respectively, because he was great in North Carolina State, but he was a rookie that had a great game, and everyone thought he was going to be great because he had like a 40-yard touchdown run. But that's because no one had tape on this kid.
And plus, like, the thing is, New England didn't even open up the offense. I don't even think they opened it up even 10% of what Tom Brady does.
What, sit in the pocket and throw a football?
No, I'm talking about the play selection on different plays they run.
Slants?
Gosh dang. Anyway, about the Patriots, not just as a fan, but as a football analysis, my football analysis, I think this is the best offense the Patriots have had since the undefeated loss in the Super Bowl when they had Randy Moss. Because they're back to the two tight end system. In my opinion, they signed one of the top 5 tight ends in the league.
Yeah. With
Martellus Bennett.
Definitely.
And then I think this is even a better defense, balance-wise, than when they had in 2007.
They're Pretty good, man.
Their
They're
defense,
really good.
I believe their defense this year is what the Broncos was last year.
The Broncos were. But,
What the Broncos were last year. But yeah, I believe they're the best team in football.
They have a good defense. I don't know if I'd put it as far as good as the Broncos defense last year, though. They were something else last year for sure.
I know, but I believe their talent level is right there as to what the Broncos defense was last year and to what the Seahawks defense was the year before.
Yeah,
or
sure.
2 years before.
So, all right.
All right. And our 2 wild cards teams, Dylan, I'm going to go first. I am going to take the Raiders. And I'll let you pick this next one. We'll go back and forth because I still haven't decided who my second one is yet.
Broncos. Mile High City. Everyone's high in the Mile High City.
All right, go again, Dylan.
I'm going to choose the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills?
Yep.
Really?
That's what I think.
Wow, Dylan, you abandoned your Super Bowl pick.
I know. Thinking about it now, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, that's where you're wrong because I'm taking the Ravens to get the second wild card pick.
That'd be a great playoff
I
matchup.
think
Steelers, Ravens.
I know. I think that with Cincinnati's defense, like you said, their secondary, I think the Ravens' defense is better and will lead them to more victories and get them the second wild card over. It was going to be between them and the Bengals for that second wild card, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Ravens.
All right, cool. All right, this has been the NFL prediction podcast, I guess you can call it. Look out for more podcasts on breaking news in every sport. I'm going to start doing those. So thank you all for joining. God bless.
See y'all.